In this episode of Fight Capital, I am extremely lucky to be joined by world-class coach, Captain America's Eric Albarracin, who is the leader of the Broadstreet Global Empire. We are going to be exploring how financial support and game-changing branding expertise is helping him enhance the lives of global athletes hailing from all parts around the world as they join him in Natal, Brazil, training with the Pitbull brothers, Paulo Costa, Henry Cejudo, Davison Figueiredo, and many, many more. Eric shares insider tips for trainers and aspiring professionals looking to compete and join the combat sports industry. Thank you, everyone, for all the support you give me. Couldn't do this without you. And if you are watching this and not doing it already, please give me a follow, like, drop a comment. It means the world to me. Now, let's get it. And Captain America, Eric Albarracin, appreciate you doing this, brother. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, Captain America is with an S because I'm in America and Brazil. So I have to make it international. I need to make it really worldwide somehow updated because now I have a lot of fighters from different countries.
Yeah, man. Well, you're doing a lot of that, right? I mean, with the Broadstreet Global House down in Brazil, you guys have been bringing in talent from all around the world. Talk to me a little bit about that and how that got started and what your overall vision is for it.
And the Broadstreet Global House has already been promoted to Broadstreet Global Empire. Yeah, you know, Broadstreet Global, one of the first private equity firms that want to share brand recognition with some of the top athletes in the world. So that's huge. You know, they've been friends of mine since, as a matter of fact, we grew up on the same street, you know, when I went to high school, middle school, as a matter of fact. The owner and president, Joe Baldessera, I think my sister was they were in 5th grade together. So then my best friend on the wrestling team from high school is also with Broadstreet Global, and they're always reaching out to me like everybody reaches out, you know, and they want to, they have an offer or they have something they'd like to give to one of my fighters or something like that. And, you know, his name is Ray Gould. He called me up and said, "Hey, Captain, you got to get your athletes to check this out." I'm just like, you know, MMA fighters really don't make that much money as they should. So I was like, I don't know. And then, you know, I brought some stuff to some of my fighters before, but my fighters never bite. So on it. And then my friend hit me up again. I was like, I'll try, but I don't know. I was like, you know what? Let me check it out. Let me do my due diligence. And, you know, they flew me out. You know, they showed everything that they were talking about. Extremely interested. So I was like, yeah, let me get my fighters to start looking into this. You know, because fighters always need guidance on how to not go broke, really. You know, the MMA is not giving a lot of money unless you're making pay-per-view points and you're a champ. So the money you do get, you got to be smart with it. So we always say fight smart, invest smarter.
There aren't a lot of private equity, venture capital funds working specifically with the athletes unless they're just trying to get their money. How does that vision of how they're going to work with the athletes play out?
To tell you the truth, these guys just want to help. You know, they see that MMA is one of the most undeserved sports, and they want to give back and they want to be part of it. But how will it help the athlete is, well, first, the Broadstreet Global's giving them an opportunity to go out. Broadstreet Global Empire right now has 2 people from Kazakhstan, somebody from Morocco, somebody from Spain, Argentina, Colombia, America. You know, it's global right there, and they're giving them opportunities that they might not get. You know, when you're first starting out, you're broke, and there's no money in this until you actually make it. So on the way up is when you need all the support. A lot of countries, it's weird. Like sometimes in India, I had a guy from India, and he's like, "I got guys that say as soon as I make it to the UFC, I'm gonna sponsor you." I'm like, You need the help now, not when you make it. And the help now is what's going to give you the opportunity to make it. And that's where Broadstreet Global has come in and giving that support to the fighters. And like I said, now we've got a couple of guys that are already IMMAF champions, which means amateur world champions with over 200 fights. The Idris Savage brothers, the twins, much like the Cade and the Rutillo twins, like that. They're phenoms in MMA. And Red of the Lynx from Spain and Morocco, Cesar Cardoza, Gladiator, Sebastian Pitbull out of Colombia, of Empire MMA out of Medellin. We were talking about Medellin earlier. And they're getting kind of big. Medellin, they're growing. They love MMA there, which is cool because I'm Colombian, so it's like it's all coming together.
Hey everyone, quick favor to ask. Did you know that nearly 80% of the people tuning in right now aren't subscribed yet? That subscribe button down below is what powers me every week to keep putting out these podcasts. Big shout out and thank you to everyone that's been supporting me for this. I couldn't do it without you. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe below. It means the world to me. And for everyone supporting me, thank you so much. Now back to the show.
I mean, when you really being able to consolidate all of these people from around the world into Natalistan, as I've heard you call it, right? Well, the Kazakhs and the Ukrainians, the Russians. I mean, you mentioned India, Argentina, everyone's just coming into that one place. What's been the benefit for all the athletes? They feel, you got Paulo, Pachuki, the Bull brothers, what's that?
Figueiredo, who was there for 300. This is a Broadstreet Global UFC 300 edition shirt. And having those guys are there for the guys at the Pitbull brothers is like, it's invaluable because, especially when on the way up, is because for you to get that experience, you would have to buy a couple $1,000 flight to another country, get a hotel, food, and all this just to encounter a completely different style that you're meeting right here in your own gym. So, there's benefits on both ends. My guys get better from the Pitbull brothers, and those guys get better, and they become more worldly, more cultured. Sometimes they have an old style that's gonna attract in the American TV, and you got to give them some of that style, like this, like One Monarchy.
Shout out to Monarchy.
Shout out to One Monarchy right here in Las Vegas. Sometimes you gotta let them know that fashion fades, but style is forever. And you have to kind of mold them into, I got them watching old WWE videos of Ric Flair and The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. I named one of them the Macho Man from Kazakhstan.
I mean, talk about that a little, because I mean, everything like the way that Henry kind of transformed himself and his brand, and Paulo and everything he's done, and the all the social media following he's built. That's definitely a part of it, right? The entertainment aspect of it, and it sounds like you're kind of cultivating that to some of the athletes. How important is that and that personal brand for the athletes?
Super important. I mean, if you really want to make money in this game, you got to work twice. And what do I mean by that is marketing yourself. That's how you're gonna, Conor McGregor a couple of years ago, I think he told Cristiano Ronaldo, who was number one on the Forbes money-making list for athletes, and Conor McGregor said, "I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna be number one." And Cristiano Ronaldo probably looked at him like, "Yeah, right, no way." Sure enough, a couple of years later, he did, because he marketed, and he got into another business. That's how it is in this game. Yeah, you gotta use that platform and become good in other areas. So when you get an IMMAF champion who's just used to pointing out fights, maybe, it's different like amateur boxing. They have to win. It's more competitor than warrior-like. You got to give them some of that warrior-like culture. And also, on the outside, teach them English, teach them how to promote themselves, amplify their dress, they get suited and booted. by one monarchy, things like that. I've had them dress up a couple times. So I think their thing is going to be their own national robe. It's very colorful and bright and gold. So it's already like a Ric Flair type robe anyway.
So, so we talked about the entertainment. I mean, from your perspective, where do you see the trends that are shaping the future of combat sports?
Well, I see a lot of wrestlers want to get into it now from the influence of, the Dagestani wrestlers like Khabib, Umar, Usman, obviously Islam, Chimaev. Those guys have inspired a whole new generation of fighters. But the trend has changed in which these new fighters can't come out with the same game as Khabib because they want that UFC 300 BMF moment every fight. And you can kind of see that because I was at UFC 300. Actually, Figueiredo, took out Cody Garbrandt. And
great fight.
He should be getting a title shot soon after that.
What advice would you give to people who are entrepreneurs, executives, coaches like yourselves who are trying to get into the space and are really who aren't necessarily athletes or fighters, but are trying to work within the sport and provide business opportunities for these athletes?
Well, don't count yourself out. I mean, for sure, this is the Wild West. Anything goes in MMA. MMA has been the pioneers for cannabis in MMA. USADA changing the rules. They were the first to advertise, I think, CBD on the major platforms. And MMA has always been on the forefront of, even stem cells. Even right now they're getting sponsored by stem cells. But we're with Bioxcellerator.
I like Bioxcellerator.
And we started the first BioX man was Patricio Pitbull. And then that's how everybody said, no, man, stem cells is good for MMA. Patricio Pitbull beat Michael Chandler 6 weeks later. And he was in a wheelchair 6 weeks before. So those stem cells made a huge difference down in Medellin, Colombia. And yeah, I think MMA is just on the forefront of many things. And MMA is so much more open-minded than other things and than other superstar athletes. I mean, MMA athletes need to be accessible because, like we said, you have to work in yourself in other areas to be ready for when your career is over. So if you have this platform, you got to use it while you're in it, and that's what you see is fighters being accessible, and being accessible means they're able to involve themselves in other areas. People that are coming in, I've never fought before. Well, that's okay. Hey, when the coach of the year out here for MMA never fought before either. I believe his father was like a famous football coach, and he was always on the sideline. Grew up coach.
Is that Coach Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that just goes to show you, if he was to have that mindset that, whoa, I've never fought before, how can I be? He's coach of the year now. Yeah. Everything kind of like in the NBA, you're like, who's this coach coaching all these superstar athletes? And he's like old and doesn't look like an athlete. It's not all being the best player doesn't always transfer into being the best coach. And which means that you don't need a certain credentials to come into this. You could create your own niche involved in this easily. And like I said, the MMA is the most accessible athletes and underserved athletes. So as you guys are being attracted to us, yes, come.
Yeah, more.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, anyone else you want to give a shout out to? I know One Monarch, Broadstreet Global Fund, Broadstreet Global Empire, Broadstreet Global House. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Bioxcellerator. Bioxcellerator is the stem cells that we were talking about. They've treated Paulo Costa, Patricio Pitbull, Patricky Pitbull. Those are my Henry Cejudo. course, those are the big core of the team, and they've all had it done. And look where they're at now. They're all mid-30s and still at the top of their game. So Paulo Costa is fighting the UFC champ right now, Sean Strickland, and that's a huge fight. Another UFC champ. We fought Johnny Hendricks, who was a UFC champ. We fought Luke Rockholm, who's a UFC champ. So Mr. Secret Juice is getting ready to fight, Sean Strickland, another UFC champ. So that pressure is a privilege, but he's ready to perform.
It's 2 weeks out, right?
2 weeks out, and we're cutting down on the calories, raising the Secret Juice, and we'll be ready June 1st, UFC 302, co-main event. It's going to be huge.
And well, hey, I appreciate you doing this. I know you guys got a lot going on today. Thanks for doing this and sharing this knowledge with the world. I know everyone appreciates it.
Check us out, Broadstreet Global. Fight smart, invest smarter. They're the ultimate financial champions. For all you fighters that, when you make some money and you need to invest, check them out.
Yeah,
you won't regret it.
It's heard it here first.
All they see is gold.
Yeah, man. Beautiful. All right, brother. Appreciate
Thank you, Fight Capital.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you that.